we're going to show the flexibility of iTeam with these provisioning policies. We're going to go into the console, log in as the administrator. We're going to be defining some roles and some policies. So let's start creating two roles. Let's say that the first role that we want to create, as we have done before, is a static role. We're going to call it role 1. AD, whoever gets this role by a provisioning policy is going to get access to a BOO AD and BOO LDAP. And this role we're going to classify it as an application role. We are going to make Mr. Powers the owner of this role. So we select Powers here. He's now the owner, so he will have to approve. If we use the default workflow, he will need to approve any access to it. We click here to make sure that people see and can request access to that. And basically, we are done with creating that role. Let's create another role. This one is going to be role 2, BOO AD only. So again, we're going to make Mr. Powers the owner of that one. So he will have to approve access to this one as well. And we're going to enable access so people can request access to this role. We're done. Now we need to create some provisioning policies and associate them with the role. So let's create provisioning policy number 1. I'm going to create that one. I'm going to call it prof policy for role 1. And this is, we say that BOO AD and BOO LDAP. And we have these services already defined. We're going to show them in a minute. And on the members, we're going to specify, well, for role 1, we want to make members of the role 1. Everybody who gets the role 1 gets associated this provisioning policy. And what is it that gives you, entitles you? Well, we're going to make it automatic so people get it at once. They don't have to request for it. We're going to make it on a specific service, and we're going to point out to the BOO AD service, this one right here. Click OK. We are done. But we want to make it actually affect 2 services. So this one we're also going to make it automatic, not all the flexibility you have in here. And you can add as many as you want, but then we're going to make the BOO LDAP as the other account that people will get. So we submit this, make it effective immediately, and we look at the status of the request, and it's good. Nice. So, well, actually, we are going to create another provisioning policy for the other role. Manage provisioning policies, create. We're going to call this provisioning policy for role 2, BOO AD only. And here on the members, we're going to say members of the role. Similar as before, but this is going to be role number 2. Click OK. And in the entitlements, we're going to say that this one is going to overlap with the other, and it's only going to be automatic. It's going to be applicable to the specific service, and we're going to make it overlap to the BOO. Let's make it BOO AD, so the Active Directory. We click OK. We submit that. Immediately, we see the status of the request, successful. We're good to go. The services that we have, oops, I shouldn't have log on, log off. We log back in. The services that we have are here. Let me show you. This is the BOOAD service. Is actually another service that is the same one that is pointing to Active Directory. So because you can have multiple services map the same adapter, you can have different policies. For example, this one is configured and the enforcement to alert users when something is out of compliance. But the one that we are just using right now is configured to correct the things automatically. So you see lots of granularity in here. Nothing else that we need to do from the console. Let's go with a user that we already have. For example, Barbara Cash. We can see that Barbara doesn't have, only have, the accounts that she has are the iTeam and the white pages. This is the default type of allocation that everybody gets. And we can see that she's obviously is not going to be in Active Directory either. So what we have here is going to have Barbara Cash requesting an access, and she's going to search for the access, and she's going to get a request access to roll number, let's say roll number 2 first. She requests access. She's not going to get it immediately because the manager needs to approve that. So let's open another browser here and go as ePowers, and he should have a request, because remember, he's the owner of the role. He has, and the default workflow goes like that. You can make this as flexible as you want, but we approved Barbara to get that role. So if we go back on Barbara, we see that on the accesses that she has access to that role. Very nice. And on the accounts, she got access to the BOOAD services, which is what the role 2 specify. And in fact, we can actually go directly to Active Directory and see that Barbara is right there. Good. So Barbara now goes and requests access to the role 1. It requests access. She goes and says, well, now I need access to role 1, which has the BO, LDAP, and AD. What is it right here? As before, the manager needs to approve that. So let's do that quickly. We see that we have another approval for her. We approve that, and she gets it. So now she got access. When we look at the account that she has access to the BO LDAP and the AD service and the BO LDAP. What happens if she gets removed from role 1? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to show you actually the capability that iTeam has to provide managers to another console. It's a subset of the console. So he's going to use the same user ID and password, use a different URL, and he's going to log in as ePowers. And he's going to manage roles, the roles of the people that reports onto him. And he's going to go to the role number 1 and manage user members. And he's finding that Barbara is the only member of that. She's going to remove Barbara from that. Make it immediately. So what's going to happen is that Barbara now has only, when she looks at her accounts, because she lost access to that other role, she only got access to the BOAD service. Why she keeps that? And she didn't lose it as she lost the BO LDAP? Well, because she still had the role 1, the role 2, that is a BOAD only, and in fact we can see that she's still there. Okay, because you see how much flexibility you can have in all this. If the manager goes and actually goes back into Barbara, let's go directly to Barbara. Oh, actually I'm searching here for roles. So if we look for the role 2 and manage members from here, we see that Barbara is still having that. If he goes ahead and removes that immediately, well, Barbara lost access to all those 2 accounts. She only has the ones that we begin with, and from AD she is gone. You see the flexibility. You can combine, you can have multiple policies attached to an individual role. You can have role hierarchy on it. You can have role owner of another role. You can have multiple services that we show in here. So lots of flexibility for you to set up your policies for automated provisioning.